allow me to be a little bit more candid today. I'm going to step on a few toes, but sometimes it's important to talk the truth. Because I realize sometimes a lot of people want to be told untruths. They want to be battered with lies rather than be confronted with the truth. I'm going to chip in into this diaspora story. Diaspora talking about the difficulties they have had as they deal with Kenyans back at home. These are the financial lessons that I want us to talk about and I want to tell you about. You may not have known it, but it is important that we talk about it. The first thing is salaries are high, yes. Incomes are high, but expenses are high. Taxes are even high. Whatever you conceive as free or cheap has to be paid by somebody, and it is paid through taxes and higher expenses. In fact, you would struggle to meet somebody who pays rent that is lower than 20% of their income. Yes, in Kenya you would easily do even 5% of your income going towards your rent. But abroad, it is extremely hard. In Europe, in the US, it is extremely hard to pay rent that is less than 20%. Most of the people sometimes pay up to 60% of their income goes into rent. In fact, rent is the biggest painful thing that most people have to pay. So when you see big houses or nice houses, it's because there is a standard that has to be maintained, but it comes at a cost. So you may earn a lot, but your expenses are high and your rent and taxes are even higher. The other thing that sometimes as diaspora people, we want to tell our people is be thankful and appreciative, not entitled. People abroad are paid per hour. So if somebody is paid, for example, 20 euros or $20 per hour, essentially if you borrow them or ask them to give you a loan of 3,000 shillings and refuse to pay, or if they borrow 3,000 shillings from them, essentially you have taken an hour of their hard labor and taken it for granted. Every single amount of money that they are paid is per hour. If they are not working, they are not being paid. So when they give you some money, appreciate that amount of money. No one walks in the streets in Europe or in the US or Australia or wherever, or abroad, wherever they go. No one walks and finds money waiting for them. No one is given a silver spoon. Everyone has to work hard. And sometimes the people who seem to make it work the hardest. I have met several people, or I've heard of several people who have been given bed rest because of fatigue. Somebody works and works and works. They want to help their people. They want to have more than enough to be able to meet the needs of the people back at home. They understand famine is here, taxes are here, the cost of living is high also, and things are a bit difficult at home. So they work extra hard. People are being given bed rest because they are unable to sleep, because they are working night and day. Remember, people are paid per hour. So you work night and day to be able to give you some money to be able to improve your lives. So it is important that you are thankful and appreciative. I have talked to many people who tell me that they're disappointed when every time they ask for money, they're asking very entitled ways. Send money. We want money. No one even says hi. We want money. And then once you send them money, they do not even say thank you, have received it. They don't even give a confirmation that they have received. You will only hear of them once they want more money. I've met people who talk about friends who, because you went abroad, now they consider calling you when they are in financial distress. So remember, people are working night and day, so you might as well be appreciative and not just take them for a ride. Entitledness. No one owes you anything. In fact, the only person who owes you something is your parent when you are not working at an underage and probably a student. That is the only place where you should be entitled. The rest of the people should be able to work on their own. This whole story of educating your cousins, uncles, grandfathers, children, and all these things, this is only out of their goodwill. They are not entitled to give you anything. So when you are given, appreciate, because where it comes from is somebody who put in the time, the sweat, and the tears. Let me tell you, in offices abroad, people don't even go on Facebook. There is no time. People are constantly working. People have schedules, they have deadlines, they have meetings, they have KPIs. You are kept on your toes. You may earn slightly more per hour than in Kenya, but you work for that amount of money. So when people do not appreciate it, it becomes painful for many people. I've heard of people who have even died because of our working. Somebody went from a night shift, then went into a day shift, then was driving home, then they slept on the wheel of the car and they died. They had a fatal accident and they died. Funny thing, simply because people are working extra hard. So it is good that you appreciate the efforts and the time people take to be able to have money to help you. The other thing that we want people to think about is take care of our investments. If somebody is taking care of you, might as well take care of that which they care about. So somebody gives you money to build them a home, you want to eat. And remember, you are even more entitled that when they come and ask where is the construction that has been happening, you're quick to say, oh, that money has been used to educate I don't know who. No one owes you shit. For lack of a better word, no one owes you anything. So you might as well take care of the hand that is feeding you. If the hand is feeding you, take care of it. So our investments back at home, they're meant to improve our lives and the lives of our children, and to an extension the lives of you. We're supposed to take care of them. If somebody buys a piece of land and they allow you to stay on that piece of land or build a home, build it, use it in the way that they desire. Then when they come, move on, because you are allowed to use that property or that thing at the time this person was away. But the level of entitlement people have, some will even try to change titleship documents of somebody who is abroad. The level of things that we hear are actually shocking. And the other thing that we want you to know is we are far, but we are not foolish. The only thing is that we are far, but we know all these things. Remember, people in the diaspora always have stories of the things that they are facing. So somebody is doing a construction, somebody tells them, oh, a bag of cement is 2,000 shillings. 2,000 shillings? But these people talk, when they are abroad, they talk and they say, oh, no, it's not 2,000 shillings. It is actually 500 or 600 shillings. But you're taking advantage of them. They know. Maybe sometimes they're even giving you 700, the 200 shillings extra, simply because they want you to have some things more because of facilitating the construction that they are doing. But doesn't mean that they are foolish. So don't take them for a ride. You may fool some people sometime, but you may not fool everybody every time. So don't take us for a ride. We are financially aware. Remember, we pay our bills every other day. So we are aware of money, we are aware of how much we have in our account. We have money deducted from our accounts. We know about money, we know about cost. And we can even ask other people and even do some little research. So don't take people for a ride. They understand these things. The other thing is, when people are doing whatever they are doing to help people back at home, the major things that are in their mind is long-term growth, wealth creation. They think about, how am I going to do something that is going to help people? Let me tell you a story. A certain individual was helping, a friend of mine actually, was helping their parents back at home. So the parents back at home in the village wanted some form of income. So the guy does two projects. One was keep chicken for the mom, a lot of chicken, a serious operation with chicken. In fact, it was almost like $3,000 worth of chicken investment, houses and chicken and feed, to be able to allow this chicken to get to a point where they are self-sustaining. The mother can be able to sell meat, and they can be able to sell eggs, and they can be able to build wealth. A good project. Builds the father a portion meal. Does the father a portion meal, a good portion meal. That, because it is far and there is no electricity, runs on diesel. But both of them have a source of income. So he does these projects, but a month later, he's still being called. Can you send us some money? Send us money for fuel. Send us money for the diesel generator for the portion mill. Send us money for chicken feed. The guy asks, when I did this plan, when I gave you this money, it was supposed to get you to this point. If I open you a portion mill and you're asking for diesel every other month, what are you doing with the money that you're supposed to be earning to be able to put money back into this portion mill? Because you're not paying rent, it is your land. The people are bringing their own inputs and you have given you diesel to run for a whole month. Shouldn't this project be self-sustaining? Why are you constantly asking for money? Because we have a long-term approach in that if the person who is abroad does not have an income, the people will not suffer. But people at home look at such projects in a short-term way. This is something that pains most of us. You look at projects in a short-term way. You're given money and you start thinking about how you're going to buy shoes, how you're going to buy clothes, instead of thinking, how am I going to generate some income so I'm not dependent on this and this person? How am I going to create some wealth and some flow of money? Somebody does everything for you. In fact, it was even your idea, but they help you set up so that you can be able to be self-sustaining. But somebody foolishly thinks that this is a monthly contribution. No, it is not. The mom, in this case, decides to be slaughtering chicken for each and every villager that passes through their house. A villager passes through, slaughter a chicken. A villager passes through, eat a few eggs. The business will not be able to sustain. From over 200 chicken, when the guy came back home, he found 30 malnourished chickens. And the mother is constantly asking for food, to a point where the guy said, no, I'm not going to give you food. I'll give you food for 3 months. After that, the project will be self-sustaining. But in the end, they never did that. They had poultry 30 chicken from 200. Shouldn't chicken that are breeding increase in number rather than decrease? The guy comes and finds the parents are hanging out. It's on a Tuesday. The father is hanging out in the city center, in the town center, playing board games and enjoying the company of men who are not working. Somebody who should be opening a portion mill and running a business. The mom is out in church meetings and enjoying the company of other women on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. So somebody thinks long term, but people back at home are thinking short term. Somebody is thinking self-sustaining business. Somebody else is thinking money that I'll be given every month. Our desire is not to meet your needs. It's to increase your wealth and your capacity to produce. That is the lesson that we want you to learn. So when you find somebody abroad has switched off their phone and not talking to you, in fact they see your calls and they are not receiving, it's because you have seen them as a source of money. You do not see them as people, but a source of money. You do not see them as helping you to be able to improve your lives. You're seeing them as a way to be able to support your bad spending habits. Lessons that we as people in the diaspora want people to learn back at home and want them to implement and improve their lives. Remember, we are exposed to many people out here, and we constantly see that weakness in our own people. The weakness of people not wanting to grow their wealth, wanting to desire shiny things instead of desiring to have sustainability and financial security. In fact, the reason for this channel when I came abroad is to be able to teach people the fundamentals of finance, something that we and our people don't talk about. Parents don't talk about this with their children. In fact, they only tell them children know about finances when their parents are broke and they are being chased out of a house, when they are being kicked out of an apartment. That is when kids know that there is financial trouble. They are never taught about money. They are never taught about expenses. They are never taught about using money as capital to grow wealth. Those are the things I desire for my people to also learn. That's why I started this channel, so that people look at money not as a means to an end, but look at money as a way of generating more means for them and their families. Because we meet people from many cultures, and I can tell you for a fact, as Africans, we are left behind in this conversation on how to generate wealth and to grow value as families. Because remember, when you have value over families, you reduce the level of poverty, you reduce the level of desperation, you reduce the level of child poverty, you reduce even the ills in society. When people have money, our desire is to be able to make an impact, but we desire to partner with our own people. We do not desire to send and use our money abroad and buy fancy and shiny things abroad, because that money will help the economies abroad. We desire to be able to do these things back at home. But when we are constantly heartbroken by people who do not take money with the seriousness that it needs, or investments with the seriousness that it needs, we find a way of not wanting to do anything to help our own people. I hope you are learning, you're growing, and becoming better in your financial affairs. Remember to subscribe to the channel, to leave a comment down in the comment section, and to like this video. Thank you. My name is George Kingwali.